historic moment. The adding of Finland and Sweden to NATO is consequential, and your leadership really matters. I still think that President Putin thinks the way he succeeds is to break NATO. Not going to do that.
Okay, I don't understand what Joe Mumbles is trying to explain there, so I guess we'll have to go to Lisa, because I'm sure she can explain it with a bit more clarity. Joining me now, Lisa Daftari of the Foreign Desk. Lisa, okay, what's he talking about? Sweden, Finland, NATO, okay, Turkey gave their approval. What's all this about? Why should I care?
It seems like for President Biden and the White House right now, as long as he hears there's some goodies in the bag for Ukraine down the line, he's happy about it. And he also loves his acronymed organizations. If you recall, that's exactly what Donald Trump campaigned on, getting the United States out of these acronymed organizations and our financial responsibilities to these bodies that don't do anything, frankly. And now let's move to the actual news of all of this is Turkey moving forward, getting closer to Sweden, bidding for their invite to NATO. What are the consequences of this? This is not something to celebrate. This is something to be very cautious of. We've always said we have to be cautious of Turkey because Turkey is an equal opportunity opportunist. They will befriend anyone and then become enemies with anyone over their own interests. They have played the East and the West. They are part of, and they're very close to certain terror organizations and rogue dictators, but at the same time try to play the West and act like a Western normalized country. So now this bid will give them obviously some proximity to the EU. It gives him this leverage to go after the Kurds and have the EU go after the Kurds and switch their positioning. The Turks, for as long as Erdogan has had the ability to do so, has always leveraged whatever he had with, you have to go after the Kurds. And again, let's remember the Kurds are partners on the ground. The United States is best allies on the ground in the Middle East in different places, especially in Syria and in Iraq. And here we are celebrating something that really the consequences of which are not discussed.
What exactly does he want done with the Kurds?
Right. So those are his mortal sworn enemies. He wants them taken out. He wants them killed. So if he got involved in the Syrian war, it wasn't because it was a humanitarian operation for him. It was because he said, you have to go after the Kurds on the ground. Again, the Kurds being the U.S.'s boots on the ground, our allies on the ground in that war. Same thing goes for Iraq. They have a fixation. That's their enemy. So they have a fixation on taking the Kurds out. And again, everywhere where they get involved, that becomes the contingency is to go after the Kurds.
Of course. Joe Biden told told the whole world, I guess, that Ukraine's out of ammunition. Here he was.
The Ukrainians are running out of ammunition. The ammunition that they call them 155 millimeter weapons. This is a war relating to munitions, and they're running out of that ammunition, and we're low on it.
That seems like not a great thing to admit to everybody, but do I have it right there? Now we're sending cluster bombs over there?
That has been the decision from the White House. Of course, a lot of pushback by lawmakers. And of course, in Europe, we have pushback from the UK and Spain, who have already vocalized that they are not in favor of doing so. Let's just rewind also. I will remind everybody how the White House themselves called an act of war when the Russians were accused of using cluster bombs in this war. So now we would be complicit in aiding the Ukrainians in committing what we deemed were war crimes. So it makes no sense. Obviously, a lot of people are trying to walk them back from this decision. Also, it basically is showing the vulnerability of the United States to say we're out of weapons, we're out of ammunition. A few months back, there's also a report that we don't have ammunition to supply to Taiwan if there should be an invasion by China because we've given it all away to Ukraine. So who is the White House working for? That's the question we asked this morning when all headlines point to this perhaps idea that the Ukraine is favored. So really diminishing the United States on the global stage by going out there, talking about how much ammunition we have left, just to make the case that we have to send cluster bombs to the Ukraine.
That's wonderful. Antony Blinken went on TV and had something interesting to say. I can't wait to hear your take on this.
Let's start. We know Sweden is now following Finland into NATO. What message do you think that this will send to Russia? Or what message do you want it to send, if any?
Well, it sends two messages. First of all, our alliance is stronger. It's bigger with two new members, Finland and now Sweden. And it's more united than ever. And in terms of Russia's aggression against Ukraine, it's sending a very strong message to Putin that he's not going to outlast us. He's not going to outlast Ukraine. And the sooner he ends this war of aggression, the better.
Lisa, is he going to outlast us? I don't believe any of these people. They all lie to us all the time. I can't figure out what's happening over there, who's winning, who's losing. I know a bunch of brave young men on both sides are dying, and that's awful. Where's this thing going?
Yeah, we want this war to end. Every single person on every single side wants this war to end. No sane person wants this war to go on. We don't want it to cost us lives. We don't want it to cost us money in terms of all of the resources and aid that we've provided Ukraine and asked our allies to do the same. But at the same time, if we believe, and Blinken, who's a smart man, comes out and says now Russia gets the message that we are more united and stronger than ever because we got Finland and Sweden, I don't think Putin is shaking in his boots because of Sweden now joining NATO. That's not the case. So again, we would love for there to be an exit ramp. We would love for Putin to back down, but I don't think Sweden is going to be the one to tip the balance here.
Yeah, somehow I don't think the Finns are going to push him away either. Lisa, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Are you tired of watching your beloved nation fall prey to the insidious grip of communism? The Anti-Communist Manifesto by Jesse Kelly is the ultimate guide to fighting back against this destructive force. Discover the shocking truth about communism infiltrating our education system, corporations, and even environmental movements. Unmask the true agenda behind groups like Antifa and Black Lives Matter and learn how to protect the United States from the most malicious enemy. With extensive documentation of past atrocities, you'll see the undeniable danger posed by this ideology. Arm yourself with knowledge and join the fight to preserve the American way of life. The Anti-Communist Manifesto, a new must-read book from Jesse Kelly. Get your copy today at jessekellybook.com or wherever books are sold.